Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to Guns N' Roses Central, and it's time for this week's news video. Now, before we get started with this week's news, if you watched last week's news video, I had talked about Displate.com, and I mentioned how we were going to be giving away a free Guns N' Roses Displate, and this is the Displate we're giving away. This is one of their new ones that they've recently put up on their website. Now, I'm going to make it really easy for you guys to win this. So there's only one Displate to win. So you guys have to tell me the right answer to this question. So there was a magazine from LA in 1986 that Guns N' Roses was featured on the front cover of. So this was before Guns N' Roses became a really well-established band. And now we talked about this in one of the videos I shot with Kevin. And you guys need to tell me the name of the magazine that Guns N' Roses was featured on. Kevin owns it as part of his collection. And you guys need to email the answer to me at siddarmchairempire@gmail.com. So I put the email address down below. Basically, the first person to email me the correct answer will win. It's as simple as that. So best of luck to everybody. And you guys need to also be a subscriber to my channel. So also send me your YouTube name. So you need to send me the answer as well as your YouTube name. And then we will announce the winner shortly afterwards. So I also want to remind you that even if you guys don't win or you're not going to enter the contest, Displate.com does have a special 20% off promo for you guys. So if you use the link below and use the code GNR20, you guys will get 20% off your order. So I want to thank Displate for that, as well as for the free Displate that they're giving away. So let's get started with this week's news. So according to Forbes magazine, they released a list of the highest paid musicians of 2017. And to no one's surprise, Guns N' Roses made that list, along with their former tour mates, Metallica. So the top 10 list you guys can see here. Number 1, which may surprise a lot of people, is Diddy. Number 2 was Beyonce. Number 3 was Drake. Guns N' Roses were 6th on the list with $84 million, while Metallica was 10th with $66.5 million. Now, they basically considered the pre-tax income from June 1st, 2016 through June 1st of 2017 and did not take out fees charged by agents, managers, and lawyers. And the magazine gathered data from Nielsen, SoundScan, Polestar, and the RIAA and interviews with industry insiders. So we've also got some Axl news. So with Guns N' Roses on a hiatus temporarily until they kick off their tour next year, we did have some Axl news, and apparently he's teamed up with a animal rights group called Wolf Conservation Center. So they posted this on Facebook, and I think even the Guns N' Roses Facebook page posted it as well. So they have this, the War on Wolves budget rider seeks to strip Endangered Species Act protection from wolves in 4 states. If passed into law, these wolves will die at the hands of trophy hunters. So Axl is actually teamed up, and actually there's a hashtag called Stand for Wolves. So if you guys want to know more information about it, I've put a link to their website down below. Now, there was also an article that probably went unnoticed online. So Guns N' Roses were playing a recent show on their Not In This Lifetime tour, and apparently Slash split his pants open, and you can see him covering up with his guitar, probably during Patience, or maybe it was, I'm not sure what song it was, but this was posted on Alternative Nation. We also had another Slash piece of news. So he went to Washington, D.C. this past week and actually went to lobby Congress to ensure that songwriters and record labels get paid fairly when their music's played on the radio or any other kind of medium which they can license their music to. So now with the Guns N' Roses tour over, there's been a lot of questions being asked, like what are they going to do next? And Rolling Stone actually published an article saying, basically asking where do Guns N' Roses go from here? So they laid out a couple different scenarios, some of which are probably more realistic than others. One of which was keep the tour going indefinitely. I definitely think there's a lot more touring in Guns N' Roses' future. Whether it's accompanied by an album, that's something we have to wait and see. At first, I was kind of thinking, okay, we're not going to see an album anytime soon, but now I'm starting to believe, okay, maybe we will see something somewhat soon. The other thing they talked about is maybe Guns will go to Vegas and do a residency there. I think they're too big to even do that. Another one is record a new album they talked about. They talked about truly reuniting the old band with, Izzy and Steven, which I don't think will ever happen, and then getting creative with setlist, which could happen. I mean, they've thrown in a lot of surprising songs from Chinese Democracy that people were kind of surprised to hear. But it's kind of sad that they really haven't thrown a lot of stuff from Illusions or GNR Lies or even from Appetite. And one other scenario was calling it quits. I think there's still plenty of Guns N' Roses to go around in the future. And the one that I don't think will ever happen is go back to the pre-reunion groupings. I think Slash and Axl are probably going to stay together, at least for the next 10 or 15 years at least. But if you guys want to read the entire article, I've linked to it down below. We go on to our next piece of news. So we've also got some other news that maybe went underneath your guys' radar. So as you guys know, Guns are playing Download Festival this year, or sorry, next year. But also joining them is going to be Duff's daughter. Her band, the Pink Slips, is also going to be at Download Festival. So there's a remake of the movie Jumanji coming out featuring Jack Black, Kevin Hart, as well as The Rock. And of course, Welcome to the Jungle has been licensed for the movie. And frankly, I have no interest in seeing the remake. But there is a short video on social media that was posted of these three guys basically singing Welcome to the Jungle. So I've linked to it down below if you guys want to listen to it. So we've got some more Axl news too. So there's a new movie coming out called Loon, and apparently Axl inspired the film. So the film stars Charlie Sheen, and he grows up in a similar situation as Axl did. He grows up in a town similar to Lafayette in Indiana. He has problems with the law, and fueled by racism and homophobia are spiraling Charlie into a fast track of oblivion. And apparently Axl was the inspiration behind the movie. And it wasn't the first time that Axl's been an inspiration behind any kind of film or play. Back in 1998, there was a play called White Trash Wins the Lotto. And they actually were pretty well known around that time. They actually appeared on Conan O'Brien's show. And I think Axl was personally invited to the actual play, but he never attended. So if you guys want to see that White Trash Wins the Lotto on Conan, I've linked to the clip down below. So turning now to Dizzy Reed news. Now, over the past couple of weeks, more and more news has been coming out about his solo album. So he's actually going to be releasing it on February 16th, and you can now pre-order it. So it's a 12-track LP, has apparently been in the works for quite some time. In fact, reports surfaced almost a decade ago that Dizzy was working with Almighty frontman Ricky Warwick on a solo project, some of which included Rock and Roll Ain't Easy's eventual first single, This Don't Look Like Vegas. In addition to collaborating with Warwick, Reed also worked with a variety of other musicians, including fellow Guns N' Roses vet Richard Fortus and members of his long-running side project Hookers and Blow. So fans who actually pre-order the album through Reed's label Golden Robot Records will receive an instant download of This Don't Look Like Vegas, and the record is being made available in a variety of different editions, including digital, compact disc, and purple vinyl. So his band has actually announced a bunch of touring dates, which I covered in last week's video, and the track listing has also been made available for the album. Now, I imagine there's a lot of stuff written about his days with Guns N' Roses and probably his personal life as well. So let's go on to our next piece of news. So if you guys remember, a couple of weeks back, Dave Grohl made a surprise appearance in Oklahoma with Guns N' Roses on stage. And it turns out that the guitar he was using on stage actually wasn't even his own. So there was a post on Alternative Nation that the guitar that Dave Grohl was using was actually one of Richard Fortus's guitar, because Guns N' Roses did a rig rundown showing off the type of equipment they're using and the kind of guitars they're playing. And the one that Dave Grohl used is actually featured in that rig rundown. So I've linked to the article down below. And this next piece of news goes all the way back to February of last year when Guns N' Roses were touring Asia and they played Singapore. So apparently there was a fan who was fined for damaging a taxi by kicking a door and breaking the side mirror. So this fan, who had been drunk, he actually attended the Guns N' Roses show in Shanghai and was looking for a cab when he saw a limo taxi. So the guy ended up kicking the taxi side door and breaking its side mirror when the driver refused to ferry him as he was waiting to pick up private passenger after the concert. So the actual guy was fined $2,000 after he admitted to committing mischief on Aviation Park Road on February 25th. Also want to let you guys know that one of my videos actually two of my videos made news on alternativenation.com. So last Friday I posted a video about Slash's girlfriend Megan talking about Slash's plans right now, how he was supposedly working with Myles Kennedy, but then I also showed a clip of Myles talking to Eddie Trunk from last week where he said that he's now working in the studio with Slash. So it seems to be conflicting information, and they said on their website, watch a video below from Guns N' Roses Central discussing Kennedy and Hodges' comments, including a conspiracy theory that their comments could be a cover for secret new Guns N' Roses recordings. So I'm going to have another video about that, discussing my theories and looking at some more of the evidence in terms of what Guns N' Roses is potentially up to right now. So we've also got some Steven Adler news. So Steven Adler, of course, is not sitting around waiting for Guns N' Roses to invite him on their Not in This Lifetime tour. So there was news on Deadline.com that AXS TV is set's Eddie Money reality show premiere and new music countdown series. So according to the article, AXS TV has set April 8th premiere date for its Eddie Money reality series, Real Money, and has added rock and roll countdown show to its mid-season lineup. So the new show, called Top 10 Revealed, will spotlight best of lists on a variety of rock and roll related themes. The episodes will cover such topics as best guitar intros, Vietnam anthems, and 80s rock ballads. And a rotating panel of experts will include rockers Lita Ford, former Guns N' Roses drummer Steven Adler, and former Pantera percussionist Vinnie Paul, amongst others. So the Countdown series debuts on February 11th and will be hosted and executive produced by Katie Darrell. So that does it for this week's news, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to share it as well. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you love Guns N' Roses as much as I do, and be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date on all things related to Guns N' Roses, and best of luck on submitting for the Displate contest that we're having. Take care.